Harry M033. I swear if you freeze frame the first second of this video, it makes a fantastic album cover for the band, which may or may not have been known as a Rapid Eye Movement. I don't know what else that could stand for. Really elephantitis movement, I don't know. But I don't know who this kid is either here. Is he supposed to be the kid out of Back to the Future? Or from some kind of weird obscure game? Is there something I'm missing here, guys? Please write in and tell me what game he's supposed to be from, if any.
Welcome to GamesWorld. Tonight is
And we arrive at the haunted house. Oh, he's John Connor, isn't he? John Connor. Oh yes, I never miss an opportunity to reference Arnold. Is Neil West with his fantastically slick haircut. They all have slick haircuts in GamesWorld. Candelabra moving all by itself. Oh, that's really scary. It's like out of an episode of Scooby Doo. I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you two meddling freelance journalists. The Cybernator, which is obviously ripping off my movie, The Terminator. Okay, I'm going to stop doing that now. And it looks like it's some sort of cross between Metroid and Probotector, which was called Contra in the States, but thanks to those blasted Germans, we had to call it Probotector. Robot Protectors, I'm guessing. Or they're named after that referee, Lee Probert.
Isn't your usual run-of-the-mill sort of shoot-'em-up. You control a big Japanese robot bloke who's rock hard.
That's a great sound effect, isn't it? As the stabbing blade goes off the screen. Now, I don't know who this bloke is. He's supposed to be someone famous, I'm guessing. However, coming up in just a minute, we have... He's not coming, is he? He's coming up. Hold on, he's coming up. Yes. Welcome to Channel 4 News with me, Trevor MacDonald. No, hold on a minute. It's Krishnan Guru Murthy, isn't it? I should have known that because it said on the screen. Look at that haircut. He looks like Paddy out of Max and Paddy, that baldy bouncer episode when he got that hairspray and it made his hair go all crazy. Another famous person here who I neglected to look up earlier. Maybe he's from one of the magazines. That's what Hewland used to do in these shows, get the magazine's dudes up. And indeed, Neil West and Jane Goldman probably did write for those freelance magazines back then. Jane Goldman certainly is now better known for her screenplays, but back then she was a journalist who appeared in such prestigious publications as the Beano and the Daily Sport. Incidentally, Harry Yack was once published in the Daily Sport, but I'm not going to go into that because that's a story for another day.
The violent theme is sure to continue with Jane's next feature.
Let's go back to the haunted house of horrors and anything else that begins with H. Jane Goldman's got red hair here, although I believe now she has pink, or at least she has on her Wikipedia picture. Oh wait, sorry, I don't use Wikipedia as a source of info. All of it is wrong. Now, while I was babbling there, we had Jane Goldman sat in front of a CGI chamber type place. It reminds me a bit of Nightmare, hence I love this, and it probably did remind me of Nightmare when I was a kid too. However, I do have to admit, I got this mixed up with the 4th or 5th series of GamesMaster. You know, the one that's based in heaven, where they have a Games Heaven and a Games Hell. Good games go to heaven, the bad games go to hell. Where do dogs go? I don't know, it's a moot point. When a very kind person uploaded this 15-minute clip of House of Games by GamesWorld to YouTube, it all came flooding back. This is the show with the Games Heaven and Games Hell. Now, I don't think any of the games in this go to hell, but it is really rather scary when they do. I don't remember if I was necessarily very scared by this, but I do have a vivid memory of watching this show, and I'd forgotten completely about it until the bloke uploaded this, so cheers.
They have to be smaller. So this is what they look like once they've been converted down to 16 colours in the correct size for the Genesis. The Game Gear is even worse, it's only got 12 colours. And the Game Boy is the worst of all, it's only got 4 colours. And
oh, it actually looks awful on the Game Boy.
But once they're up and running on the Game Boy, they look really, really good.
They would say that. They would have to promote their own games, wouldn't they? A very dry promotional piece this here, but I don't mind that. I don't remember watching this show a lot as a kid, although I probably did.
And some sprite programs within the actual game, and it's really down to 10 years worth of
If you look on the screen at the background, number 1 on the leaderboard is AAA. AAA is the greatest video games player that ever lived. Oh, Scorpion turns his enemy into a glitch monster. My favourite type of monster, and indeed my favourite type of glitch. I'm obsessed with glitches. Vote now, bloke or woman in the background playing the game. Oh jeez, that's really rather scary, isn't it? Oh dear. It reminds me of that Channel 5 show that they always show every other week. Ghosts Real or something it's called. The World of Ghosts. And they present all these fake CGI images as real ghosts. The show is from the mid to late 90s, and when they're talking about cutting edge technology in that, they're talking about VHS recorders and things like that. But speaking of modern technologies, we're going to see the Videotron a little bit later on. We'll get to that in due course, but I'm itching to talk about it. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, screw you, Flintstones. The modern Stone Age sucking family. Where's there a sea mine on that table? Yes, I must point out in a previous commentary, I referred to a sea mine as a land mine. Well, I'm a bloomin' idiot for thinking so, but there again, I don't work for the Royal Navy. Here's Krishnan again. And it's so fantastic to see him doing well these days. All these big names started out on GamesWorld. It's quite interesting to see. It's a rogues gallery. Before they were famous even. Although I don't know who that bloke is, as I've already said. Flintstones, I have never played that. Although I may have rented one of the Flintstones games. Back in the day, I used to rent quite a lot of VHS tapes of the Flintstones. And wondered what these new episodes were. Yes, they were still making them into the mid to late 90s, I think. And I was fascinated by this. I thought, what, the Flintstones are being taken out of their time in the 50s or 60s or whenever that was originally broadcast, and thrust into the modern world. Well, they are the modern Stone Age family, aren't they? They aren't the 60s Stone Age family, although some people term the 60s as the Stone Age, or the Stoned Age.
6 out of 10.
Yeah, you can see Pac-Man going around eating his pills. I always call them pills, I'm not sure what they are. But again, I must credit the fantastic CG work in this. I'm going to have to look over the credits to see exactly who did that. Because that's wonderful. High budget stuff for the early 90s, this. If you compare this to the recent Nightmare revival that they did, and the low budget that they had there, relatively low budget, they did a great job. It's in 1080p, but you can never beat a bit of money, as Richard Branson might have said on more than one occasion, as he chowed down on his virgin Branston pickle. And that was a terrible joke. I'm sorry. This looked like a rip-off of the Toxic Crusaders, a show I watched, but I never played the game. I didn't even know that there was a game, to be honest with you. But this looks somewhat appealing. I didn't have a lot of Game Boy games back when. My brother did. He was the big Game Boy fan.
Game Boy anyway. But other than that, there's not really very much to it. You sort of walk along, hit things, walk along a bit more, hit things, jump a gap.
You walk along, you have a big stick, and you can hit people.
Okay, I'm going to comment on the graphics again here. Oh, no! Yes! Haha! Killed it! I killed it with my skirty voice. Oh, I can't be having that with my... Seriously. Ugh.
I didn't think Zen worked really well as a game. It's not really suitable for the Game Boy because the graphics...
So where was I? Oh yes, I was commentating on the graphics, or rather commenting on the graphics. I'm not a football commentator, although I've applied for many jobs as a footy commentator. They never took me on. They always said, why don't you learn something about football before you come to us next time? But anyway, I was talking about the graphics, wasn't I? They're fantastic. Or should I say, they are wonderful, because I always say fantastic. You know when you get stuck on a word and can't stop saying it?
Tomorrow night, GamesWorld's live Wednesday night show, Try Your Luck, is going to make...
And we're back in Traeger's antechamber. I'm going to refrain from talking about Nightmare, because here we have the Videotron. Oh, look at that fish! Do you think she caught that fish, kids? Well, kids, you're not kids anymore watching this, are you? Whoa, fancy effect, dude! And Andrew Curry, who presumably owns Curry's these days. Or not, because I think Curry's has closed down. Is it still going, as of 2013? I neglected to check, as usual. But there again, how could I have guessed I would be talking about that? There's the Videotron, which is just glorified teletext. In fact, you could say it's a mix between teletext and a DVD player. Yeah, this did become a reality, didn't it? All this wonderful technology with the DVD recorders. Of course, we have the internet now, but a few years ago, DVD games were hugely popular, and they remain so at Christmas time. I'm pretty sure they still churn those out on a yearly basis, slap 3 questions on them, and then you put them away till next Christmas, just like I did with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Uses of it allows you to keep a score as well, your own personal score.
Now we've got a qualifier to play here, and our winner is in our...
What's that bloke got in his hair there? Try your luck. I don't remember that. Apparently that was a GamesWorld show, but I'm presuming this was season 1.
Which will be multiple choice questions. The viewers at home who have the...
But here we go, we have to have WWF stuff in here because Sky One did own the rights to the wrestling. And GamesWorld was the #2 show on the network behind the World Wrestling Federation highlight show, a few episodes of which I have on tape, and I promise I will get round to doing some commentaries of those. Just remind me to do it because I will forget. Oh, is that the same dude who was in the studio a minute ago? He's lost all his hair. What's going on?
And we've decided to make the
I presume they're all Videotron machines in the background. Now, who does this bloke look like? He really reminds me of someone, but... Oh, I know. I used to have a neighbour that looked like him. I don't think he ever starred on GamesWorld, though. Because whenever I talk to him about video games, he gives me a slap on the face. Or he did, until they sent him to prison. But we're getting way off topic here. You've got the fast text keys, which are exactly the same as teletext. Which begs the question, why didn't you just program this for teletext? But then again, I would say that, because I'm a huge teletext nut.
Tune in to try your luck tomorrow night on Sky 1, 6 p.m.
Ah, no religious imagery on my screens! How dare you do that? Joe and Mac, Caveman Ninja. Well, can you guess what happens next? Well, I don't know. And we're heading into the break. It's time for these messages, courtesy nobody. Yes, in typical Sky One fashion, we're going for a break exactly 1.5 minutes before the end of the show. Unfortunately, this is only a 15-minute clip, but we've got to be grateful for small mercies in this world. As Fletcher might have said, I'm poised at this show with Ronnie Barker. And that didn't sound anything like Ronnie Barker. I'm sorry, I had to dig up that stupid, generic Southern person accent.
Extremely impressive platform shoot 'em up. Watch House of Games next week for a comprehensive review of the game. Comic lovers out there will be keen to get their hands on this little number.
What's that? Street Fighter the vinyl? I would buy that. No, I wouldn't, because I don't have a vinyl player. Can you play vinyls on a VHS player? Write in and tell me. We're going to see a top 5 games coming up in a minute. This reminds me a lot of GamesMaster in its format. And indeed, GamesWorld was GamesMaster in long form. It was GamesMaster spread out over the course of 5 days. And I absolutely laughed it up. Oh, nudity! Sex and nudity in Harry Yack's videos. Oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the games here. PGA Tour! Oh, I love the European Tour version of that game. I could play that for hours on end, and indeed I have. More sex and nudity, yes. Ah, look at this! It's the precursor to Pippa Funnel's horse riding simulator thingy. And Starwing, of course. I never played it. Please don't berate me for that. In fact, yes, do berate me. Berate me for everything I've ever said. And leave negative comments. Unsubscribe from my own personal channel. Do subscribe to Retro on Limb. But if you decide not to subscribe to my channel, then that's up to you. Because I suck, and I know it. But at least I admit it. And, once again, a huge tangent here, so I'm going to end this now. Sayonara!